Found out my GF of 5 years has been cheating on me with her tweaker roommate for a while now. So we recently had our 5-year anniversary the day after Christmas. I was even gonna propose, but we had a conversation about marriage the week before our anniversary and it wasn't the right time on her end, so lucky I missed that bullet. Things had been weird with us for a while, as far back as sometime in summer. I knew something was wrong, but her dog's been sick with a tumor and she just kept saying her distancing was from that. We both live in different house, mainly cause I'd rather be closer to town. Her roommate was a friend of mine. He's a bum. We showed up after his old lady and him split. He's native, has face tattoos, and a thick Texan accent. He used to be very loud and joke around a lot, but I noticed his behavior was changing as well. He got a lot more reserved around me. They had a dynamic that I just chalked up to them working well as roommates, but it definitely started getting uncomfortable. I'm in the process of seeing if my father is in the early stages of dementia, so back in September we decided to take him camping to cheer him up with some friends of ours. She left a day early to drive back and take dude to a court appointment for a Dewey he had, even though he was already in town and had a car of his own. That's about the time IRLY started getting annoyed with their behavior. Me and him had gotten into a fight sometime later when I was drunk and told him we weren't friends anymore and that I was sick of his shit. After that he kept texting threats and trying to start shit with me and she didn't do anything about it. I told him he should go and I'd move in, but she wouldn't have it. Should have seen the signs there, but I knew her long before we dated. She was a generally decent person who always went out of her way to help PPL and has never shown any signs that she'd pull something like that. So I just kept on with it. Me and him made up and I even apologized about the argument. I thought we were good until Thanksgiving. We were at the neighbor's house who is also friend of ours, and when I showed up he was giving me the stare down. I kept asking what's up and he just played it PFF as whatever. Later that night he asked me to come with him over to the house and started talking shit about my dad and my authority in the house, saying he pays rent, I'm just the boyfriend, and bringing up the old argument. I played it cool cause IRLY didn't want to start shit again and figured he was just drunk. Also at this time he was fully smoking meth in the house. He used to hide it, but at this point he couldn't give a shit. We ended up getting into another fight that night when he was blasting his music and we were trying to go to bed and I banged on his door to knock off the shit. She kicked him out and then me and her got into an argument and I left. Me and her didn't talk for a few days, and in the time some friends told me that after he had left that night he showed back up with a handgun and was screaming about shooting me in the head. So our friends took the gun from him. When I finally talked to her she said she didn't believe it even when I told her the PPL who told me and that they swore that it had happened. When I finally came back out to see her, he was sitting on the couch next to her showing her some pictures of the photo he had took. They got super awkward when I walked in, and when I talked to her I asked if they're and she swore that wasn't happening, that she loved me, always and forever. BS. After that, things just got worse. He'd make guns from airsoft guns and converting them into real ones. He was converting a new one which had full auto and constantly shoot it out on her deck in the airsoft version, and I kept telling her this was bullshit. More and more she was getting annoyed with me, but I still believe her. I wanted to him up, but she'd get pissed about it. Plus he was tweaking hard and making guns, so I wasn't about to get caught up in that shit. Someone was spreading rumors of them and the dude started accusing me of it. I was like, why the would I want people thinking that? Finally ran into the person who said it and she said he had told her months ago that they had banged. I left work early and drove out there after that, and sure enough the doors were locked to her house. When I banged on the door she looked shocked and I imminently walked into her room where his beer cans and torchlight were next to her bed. I accused her again and she said, I know it looks bad but blah blah. I loomed at her phone and all her messages from him were erased and she flipped out and took off. After that I heard it from other people that the night before I showed up some friends were there and heard him screaming at her about telling everyone that they were and then headbutt her. I saw a text he sent to another friend saying he would tell me at some point. After all that, I told her of all the evidence and she still wouldn't admit it, saying she still loves me. I'm stupid. She also looked like she started using herself, and this is coming from someone who would never even want coke in her house. I broke it off with her and feel like a fucking idiot for letting it go that long, but it was definitely something from someone I would have never seen doing something like that. I keep asking why she didn't just break it off with me sooner. She basically forced my hand with it. IDK. Shit, and this was a large story, so my bad. It's also my first post on Reddit. Anyways, that's what I got to deal with. That's few months. In the end, I think about it and I can't fully blame her. I definitely took her for granted and never moved in when I said I would. I just don't know what to make of all the bullshit. I was worried about opening up to someone again, and I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to do it again. This shit ruined me. Let's read some comments. Letting your wife GF live with another man roommate WTF is a joke where I come from. This is American culture perhaps. But seriously, what do you expect when your woman lives with another man? If my woman talks about living 24 hours with someone, I'd leave. Dude, I understand what's going on, but you need to go and move on. Now there's no saving this. She screwed up, you messed up. Seriously, by letting hers live with another person. You should have moved in when you had the chance, but who knows how long this has been going on between them. She's not going to tell you the truth. You need to get all the evidence that you can divorce her if you're married, or walk away from the end, completely ghost her, don't talk to her again. If he doesn't come clean to you about everything, tell her you're going to leave and you're going to divorce her, but you need to take care of the shit. Cause she's not going to tell you the truth. If you have evidence for cheating, use it. If she's been doing this the whole time, she's been living there, don't accept her apology, don't take her back, don't do nothing, just go on. She's not worth it. Anybody who would hurt you like that is not worth your time or your effort. You paid the rent for her, you took care of her, and this is how she repays you, by destroying you. That's not cool, bro. Drop her like a bad habit and move on. Don't accept any apology from her. She does not deserve your forgiveness. Me and a guy I've been dating had a falling out over his daughter sleeping in his bed last night. I met a man through work in January and started speaking frequently via text. We'll call him Ellen. Some backstory leading up to last night. I apologize, it's such a long post, but relevant for context on how I even ended up in the position I was last night. A couple months ago he invited me to his mountain home to show me the view, as it is rather unique, and have dinner. We developed a friendship, and as I just moved to the state, and he knew I was struggling to find a suitable apartment for available within 25 miles of my job up to $3K a month, he offered I move into one of his homes his mother is living in, as she is now in her 90s and the doctor advised she needs to live with someone full-time. I'd have the whole place to myself, and we agreed on a rent we are both satisfied with. My max was $2,500. He said he could easily get $4-5K a month for it, and I said $2.5 was my max, and if he wanted more I would not take it personally and find somewhere else. He said $2.5 was fine, then invited me to move into the master while he moves his mother out. I insisted on paying rent, but he said no worries and it was only fair, it's rent-free until his mom moves out. I was told this would be a 1-3 week process. It's been 6 weeks now with no progress. This wouldn't be an issue, but there are 5 cats in the house, each whom I love and adore, but I can see she is unable to care for them alone. There is a cleaning lady who comes 3x week to do the litter, but whenever more than one day goes by, the house just absolutely reeks of cat urine. There is also an old corgi that is kept outside only on the pavement. He doesn't go inside. This can be a cultural thing, as they are unfazed by it, but for me it is depressing and wrong. I've suggested the dog go to a shelter and a nice family adopt it. He is a sweet boy. I take him for walks and refresh his water when it runs out. I clean after the mother, as she is unable to do so. I found myself feeling resentment towards Ellen. I felt like since I moved in, the decision to actually move her out was delayed, as now someone is in fact living with her, and the house responsibilities to care for and clean after the mother is falling on me. That being said, I adore her, and we have spent hours having coffee and talking about work and life. So, I was feeling torn. I didn't want to go to him and say she's got to go, it is in her house, but I did need to tell him it wasn't working for me, and that I decided to move out and find my own place to allow them the timeline they were working with. I've found myself caring for her deeply and want her last years to be peaceful. I know moving out is difficult for her. She is a strong, independent and successful woman in her own right. It didn't feel okay for me to move in and get impatient with things not moving forward. It also is frustrating since I see she really needs 24/7 care, and she is not getting the support from Alan she really needs. Through living in the house, I met Alan's daughter, a beautiful 7-year-old. We'll call Anna. He and the mother split just over a year ago and finalized custody and settlement a few months ago. He was given full custody due to the mother's work schedule. It had, unfortunately, turned into a money issue. They'd never married. The daughter is caught between the two, and there is no stability in where she is or when, as the mother consistently calls Alan to drop her off unexpectedly or be on standby at night. I can see she is sad and unhappy about how her parents are managing their split. Alan explains to me the reason the mother's closed belongings are all over his, and his mountain home, is to make the transition easier for Anna. The mother transitioning out of the house was slow, and involved the two sleeping in separate rooms. Anna would choose who to sleep with. Neither parent has begun the process on enforcing Anna sleep in her own bed. He has sent me many pictures at night with her curled around him. Anna took to me very quickly. She clings to me and counts every hug we have. We're at 79. I have approached the situation neutrally, like we are friends, and am friendly and affectionate to her. I think Alan was taken aback or concerned with her bonding to me, and begun to stop texting to let me know when he is coming to the house. He began to ask his mom questions about me and where I am, and I only find out about when Alan is coming through his mom. When Alan and I first started speaking, he would text regularly and call, and that has changed. They are much fewer and far between, and it takes hours to respond. Due to the cat smells and feeling like I am under surveillance with his mom, I have started going to hotels and taking night-off trips places to explore my new home area and meet people, make friends and connections. He has mentioned this is hard for him not knowing where I am. I explained how much I care, but this living situation is not working for me and I need a break. I can eat at the house with the smell and flies from food left out in the kitchen from the mom cooking. I'm an extremely neat and tidy person, who wipes a sink after every meal. I'm not here to change what the situation is, nor am I going to be doing the housekeeping to make it livable for myself. Work has been extraordinarily stressful and I feel I'm at my limit with what I can handle. I am also an introvert and need my own space, which is now reduced to a bedroom. I've all but pleaded he see that his mom needs 24/7 care, and since I'm moving out, perhaps hire a caretaker to live with her instead. I want what's best for her. So, getting to the point, I asked him if I could stay at the mountain home for a few nights and he agreed. It's been under construction, and is a side project of his that he works on in his free time. I brought sheets for the master and spent the last day on my computer getting work done and stressing. He texted yesterday saying he was going to come spend the night with Anna, which is a big deal, and I was thrilled. I spent a few hours cleaning, got flowers, lit candles and made it as cozy as possible. I was looking forward to some good time with both of them, as I only saw him once the week before. He showed up and barely looked at me. Anna greeted me warmly with roughly 7 hugs. I noticed he had been drinking wine in a sports bottle. I could see he was annoyed, stressed, frustrated about something. He treated me like he was completely indifferent. I was cooking and he only spoke to Anna, inviting her outside to see the night and engaging nearly only with her. When we first started talking, he made the decision not to be open about our relationship with his mother or daughter. He has essentially asked me to lie about where I am when I have gone to spend time with him at night. We have spent 2 nights together. I had every plan to sleep with him in the master and his daughter in her room. I was upstairs in the rooms getting something when Anna appears asking where I am going to sleep. I motioned to the master bed and said here. She was like, "No, I sleep there. You can sleep in my room. That's where mom sleeps sometimes." First of all, Alan told me he had slept there once before. Anna is indicating it is perhaps a more frequent thing. She then kept going on about all the bedrooms I could sleep in besides the one with her father. I smiled and said we'll ask her father, but inside I am livid. Anna is put to bed in the master. When Alan comes downstairs we sat down and had a conversation where I explained that if I am entering his life at a time where he is unable to be open about what is happening, there is no space for me. At first he says it has to do with Anna, but we get to the truth. He is concerned how the mother may react by hearing he is seeing someone new. Would Anna love to see me and Alan together and happy and bring her in as a loving space? I have no doubts about it. Exactly how and when we get there, that is a difficult decision. I am not trying to rush, but rather let things evolve naturally and openly. It feels like rather than moving forward, we have only moved backwards and being dishonest with everyone around us about how we have grown close over the months. My sleeping in a guest room like the mother is setting up a pattern for Anna to think this is a normal thing. If he is concerned about her being confused, the situation is going to definitely confuse her. I said ultimately if the relationship needs to be hidden and I am sleeping in the guest room like his ex, it is not the right time for a relationship or anyone new in his life. A new partner should be introduced as a thing in itself with boundaries, respect, and delicately. I didn't feel comfortable, and told him I was not staying the night, and to go ahead and lie to Anna that I got a stomach ache and had to leave. What's another lie to him? As a child from a home with a horrible divorce, I understand what is happening and feel a tremendous amount of empathy for Anna. But this situation is child's play compared to what I went through. I began to cry as I told Alan a bit about what I witnessed over the long drawn-out years. I warned him one day Anna will be a teenager with moods and anger. Right now she is resilient, but he and the mother need to work out their dynamic for her sake before she gets older. The moment passes and we're in silence. The dog walks over, he picks it up and starts babying the out of it. I was like, I just had a moment and opened up and began to cry, and you don't touch me. The dog walks over and you smother it with affection. Even the dog is above me. I got up to leave. I almost wonder if my reaction has to do with how I was raised. Me and my sisters went to our own beds every night from toddlerhood onwards. Weren't given everything we want. We were poor. There were rules and discipline. Alan lets Anna disrespect him, makes him do things for her she is perfectly capable of, and showers her with any and everything she asks for. He still wipes her ass for her. There's no boundaries or rules. Please understand, I am not saying I need to be number one. His daughter is and should be his top priority, but I need a spot. I can't be in a relationship where I am on the wings waiting to be prioritized. Please give advice, as I am unsure my reaction has to do with my own trauma, or if I am reasonable in being hurt and at the end of my rope with him. Let's read some comments. Alan is and separated from his wife. Your relationship is a secret. BCHAS and separated from his wife. He moved you in with his mother in hopes that you would fill the caretaker role indefinitely in exchange for free rent, with the bonus being that he was effectively tying you down because you feel the need to not leave his mother alone and keeping a close eye on you. You must recognize that Alan is fundamentally dishonest and masterfully manipulative. Anna sleeping arrangements are beside the point. Anna DOES and no UE her dad GF. Because Alan is still with his wife. He married and he successfully got OP to be his mother caretaker while also getting $2,500 PM out of her. He a special kind of guy, to manipulate someone into being a bangmaid and a fill-in living assistance aide for his mother at no cost, in which you would almost been paying him rent to do all of this. You being taken advantage of. He a shitty parent, a crappy son, and a big ol' stinky turd of a boyfriend. You know that a good person would try to find resources for a parent in need and recognize when their place is a horrid smelly mess. He refusing because he not a good person and one take accountability in choosing to be responsible for an aging parent. He not a safe person for you to grow old with, or have children with, or be in any scenario within which you cannot fully be independent. Illness, surgery, etc. You seeing that he is and dependable. Get out while you can and feel free to make a report to any kind of elder care services. You can help the mom set in home services up to, she an adult. You can help her maybe get an aging case manager who could identify additional resources for her. Thanks for listening everyone. If you enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Reddit Zone to never miss a future upload.